Still no one? Mm, that too. Is the mic off? The mic's off. Om Shanti. And welcome to Raj Yoga Essentials. We're going to start with a reflection. Hopefully you're seated comfortably. And immediately I take my attention inwards. And bring the question into my mind. What is the call of the time? What is time inviting me to do? What is time trying to reveal to me? Looking honestly, the answer to these questions is shown by how I am reacting to the current scenes and situations. My own reactions reveal a lot to me. My own inner activity, thoughts, feelings, emotions, they all reveal a lot to me. And what I might begin to see through reactions of worry, fear, anxiety, or stress is that there is a concern about loss, a fear of loss, whether it's loss of things, loss of control, a loss of perceived normalcy. This concern of loss. And what is that concern of loss about? What is time, the current scenes, wanting me to understand about this concern of loss? This is what I want to explore. Not to fear that concern, avoid it, but face it and see what's on the other side. Om Shanti. So, what does Raj Yoga have to do with this concern of loss? What is the essence of Raj Yoga? What is the point of it? The memorial of Raj Yoga is a very ancient, the most ancient scripture that's called the Gita, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And the essence of that Gita, again, it's a memorial of Raj Yoga, so it's revealing the essence of Raj Yoga, is to really move from life being a state of bondage, which causes a lot of sorrow, to life being an experience of relationships, which causes a lot of happiness. And the more that we delve into that, the more we realize, and I don't say this to insult anyone, but the more we realize that we have become absolutely senseless in how we conduct our lives. I've noticed something when I go into the supermarket, that there are two items that tend to be either low in stock or out of stock. And those two items come under two categories. One is having to do with imperishable items. The perishable items are in stock. It's the imperishable items that are out of stock. And the other is items around cleanliness. So at this time of crisis, we seem to be stocking up on imperishables and cleaning supplies. Makes sense. It's a great concern to us. We like to be in hygienic, clean environments. And it makes no sense to stock up on perishables. They'll go bad. Lose them. Makes sense to stock up on imperishables. If I look at how I conduct my life, and all I have to do is look at what I think about all day, we have become extremely entangled, attached, engrossed, invested in perishable things, things that do not last. We have even immersed our sense of self in perishable things. And when we, again, look at our activity now, that makes no sense. We don't go to the store and stock up on perishable. We know that they won't last. And yet it's incredible that our entire life is really deeply rooted in perishable things. We're so attached. And that's what's being challenged at this time. Time is really providing a gift to realize this before it's too late. Can you imagine stocking up on perishable things and then the stores close and I'm just stuck with perishable things that will last for a very short time? It'd be very nice if I figured out before the stores closed that it's really a good idea to stock up on imperishable things. That's a good place to invest. So, looking at what we think about, or look at what goes on in your head or what is going on in your head, especially when we sit in meditation, we're managing to stabilize for a moment and suddenly our thoughts go where? Where do our thoughts go? Start to think about what I have to do. Start to think about taking care of different possessions or relationships, relatives. Looking at all the aspects of my life, it's all created out of temporary things. I've attached the word mine or ownership to things that really don't belong to me. They are constantly coming and going. I've anchored myself, my life, in things that are short term. And really attached deeply to the point that those things begin to control me. And that is called a bondage. So when we say let go, many souls don't like this term or feel that it's about distancing or stepping away from. It's actually about moving from bondage to relationship or dysfunctional to healthy. If we complete the sentence, let go of things that don't belong to you and start to connect to things that do. That is Raj Yoga. So I'm letting go of illusions and connecting to reality. And a very famous line from the Gita is, reality lies in the eternal, in what is imperishable. So the essence of the Gita is moving away from this perishable state of life into an imperishable state of life. I'm not moving away from life. I'm just shifting the paradigm from a very unhealthy, unstable, out of control life to a very healthy life. So what are these perishable things that I have attached to? What goes on in my head? Well, the top fear right now is about so-called losing my life. People are very afraid of losing their life because I think that life is the body. And yeah, guess what? Eventually you will lose this. Maybe not at this time, but eventually you will. Because this body is temporary. It's perishable. And I have actually come to think of it as life, my life, me. Kind of crazy because it is perishable. To actually invest my entire sense of self in something perishable is an absolute bondage. It's such a frightening state. I'm constantly in fear of losing myself because I think I'm the body and the body is perishable. So I eventually will lose myself if I think I am the body, something perishable. So that's very high on the list of issues we have, is this perishable body and thinking I am it, and everything else flows from there. So I start to attach to certain people who I think are mine, all relative to this body. So my mother, my father, my children, my siblings, my friends, etc. It's all relative to the body. Those come and go too. So for those of you who might be a mother coming up to Mother's Day or a parent, you were not always that. You still existed before that relationship came. So really, really deeply. And we experience a lot of sorrow. Now, some think, are you saying that we should have no feelings, that we should just have... That's not what we're saying. We're saying changing things from a bondage to a relationship. We actually can have very beautiful relationships with other souls without owning them. Because we can't. We can't really own other people. They come, they go. They've got their own stories. We can still have beautiful relationships. This sense of this attachment, which is short term. So it eventually will end. It's doomed to end in sorrow. And so I try to control it. I try and make people do what I want them to do. I try and hope that they stay around for as long as possible. But it's doomed to end. So I have to transform how I'm relating to other souls. Not stop, just transform. Is there an imperishable way to relate to other souls? And then there's possessions. We think we own those too. My car, my house, my phone. They all are going to end as well. Is it possible to have a relationship with these perishable things that isn't a bondage, that recognizes they will eventually go? And of course, the big one is status or position. Those come and go a lot. Today, everyone loves you. Tomorrow, they don't. So it really comes and goes. What Raj Yoga looks at is starting to shift our sense of self from being completely immersed in perishable things and move it, connecting myself to imperishable or eternal things, an eternal paradigm, an eternal way of experiencing myself. And then once I'm in that state, then how do I relate to perishable things? So this is the idea of letting go of perishable by filling up on imperishable. And this is where we come back to the experience I had in the store. Crisis is starting to knock some sense into us. People are starting to fill up on imperishable things, stock up. We have that sense, that innate wisdom inside. But can we do it with respect to the self? Can I start to fill up with experiences of the imperishable, such that I'm able to have a very nice relationship with the perishable? I can let go very easily because it will go. I can let go very easily, no problem. I have a full stock of imperishability inside of me, which we call spirituality. I really have a deep experience of the imperishable. So it's no problem that the perishable does what it's going to do, which is come and go. I feel that's the opportunity of this time. If I experience worry, fear, stress, it means I'm still clinging to the perishable. I'm not using the opportunity of this time. It's like going to the store and stocking up on perishables. But that's not what souls are doing. They're stocking up imperishable, and cleaning. These are the two things we need to do spiritually. Start to fill up on the experience of the eternal and become very clean inside, clean the heart. And that's what Raj Yoga is for. The first experience of what is imperishable is the deep experience of the self. I am an eternal being, which means I'm not the body. The body is not eternal. So there's me and there's the body. It'll be very easy to let go of the body because it is going to go. It'll be very easy. I'll have a very healthy relationship with the body, a very sensible relationship with the body. When I am no longer anchored, my sense of self is not anchored in the body, it's anchored in the self. I am an eternal being, a soul, and then there is this body that I express through, but I don't need it to exist. Quite the opposite. The body needs me. And for any of you, I know it's not a comfortable topic, but for any of you who have been around a corpse or someone who has passed away, I think you know that feeling that they have left the body. They are no longer there. It's just matter that is no longer living. The body needs me to be living. When I am no longer in this body, it will become non-living. It's not life. I am the life in this body, and as long as I'm in this body, it will be living. When I no longer am in this body, when it has reached its full growth, I will leave and the body will become non-living. So that first lesson, which will help all the other lessons to shift, all the other ways I am relating to perishables, whether it's other people or possessions or different roles I play, that will all shift naturally when I can get this first one under my belt. That I am the eternal being using this perishable body to express through. So we're going to just try and go into that experience, stock up on that experience and how that automatically wants, there's that feeling of wanting to be very clean or light. So sitting with a sense of focus, a single focus, I want to know what it feels like. I seem to have lost somewhere along the way the feeling of being separate from this body. I lost a sense of self. I want to know what it feels like to get that feeling back, that there is me, life, the soul, the living being. I am in this body, this vehicle of the body. I'm expressing through it, but I am not the body. I want to know what that feels like. And perhaps the first thought I need to hold is, it's going to be okay to let go. I won't disappear. There will not be any loss. I might actually gain something. It's going to be okay. I become quiet and aware of how deeply attached I am to this body. when I try to feel that difference, that separateness, that there's me and then there's the body, it's as if my mind goes numb. To move from the thought to the experience, there seems to be resistance, perhaps fear. I remind myself it's going to be okay. It's okay to let go. I'll still be here. I do believe, I do have faith that I am a soul, that I am not this body. I become calm. And feel myself focusing. First, just becoming the observer. A first step. Just aware I am the one observing through the eyes. Just holding that feeling. And very gently, naturally, awareness of the body starts to float out of focus. I am the observer, and that sense of being the observer, the energy of that starts to concentrate into a single point. A point from which I am observing. That point is me. The point from which I think, I observe, that's me. Very subtle, very quiet. The body seems a little far away because I am so focused on experiencing myself, this point of observation, very calm, as if becoming the eye of a storm. There's no loss in not feeling I'm the body. What I gain is a sense of calm. Feeling less anxious, less desperate, less frenetic. Completely okay in this moment. not just an observer. I've become a peaceful observer. Yes, I am not this body, but I still exist. I'm still okay. Letting go of attachment to the perishable in order to fill up with the experience of being imperishable. Om Shanti. We're going to stop there, see if there's any questions or thoughts you wish to share. You can use the chat box if there is in YouTube, if there's anything you want to ask or share. Hmm? Mm. Mm. Might be quiet out there. Obviously, this is not something that happens in one sitting. We've had many, many years, and if you believe in rebirth, many births of believing we're the body. To think this is going to change overnight may be over ambitious. So it requires a lot of practice, watering this experience daily or as much as possible. And once one does, I think we start to feel not only did I separate from a sense of self as a spiritual being, I also separated from my true nature or character, which is very peaceful, very royal, very calm, sweet, benevolent. And that's where the cleaning comes in. I want to restore that true nature, and that's going to require a little bit of cleaning the rust off of our character. And this is why we talk about Raj Yoga. Just as I go to the store to get cleaning supplies for the physical, there is only one shop I can go to for cleaning supplies of a spiritual nature for the soul. There's only one shop, nowhere else. And that shop is God. Only a connection to the Supreme Soul, who is ever clean, is going to provide the power, the vibration to clean away all that is not me, all that has accumulated within me that is not me. So this is why we refer to Raj Yoga, which we can share in a future session. But it really has to start with moving into spirituality. As long as my mind is caught up in this perishable paradigm, it's very challenging to experience the gifts of spirituality, but also, as I think souls are discovering, it's very challenging to go through challenging times in a physical or perishable paradigm. So we're going to end there because I don't get the sense that there's anything souls want to ask tonight. So we'll just take the last couple of minutes to experience the imperishable again. When I look in my mind, where my mind naturally seems to want to wander to, the habits of thought, it's always about the physical world. What's going on out there? Selected people who I feel close to out there. The schedule of my life out there. The activities I have performed or feel I need to perform out there. What I have to do. My head is completely in the outer physical world. And I watch my thoughts as if watching someone else's mind. And by just watching from a distance, I start to gain mastery. Those thoughts control me less. It's like I create a small space in my mind where I can start to entertain different thoughts. Those other thoughts are swirling around, but I'm sitting here in the eye of the storm, starting to entertain different thoughts. Outside of all those worldly affairs, who am I? What is the essence of me? The worldly things come and go, and I feel as if they are pulling me, constantly trying to control, creating so much tension in the self. I become very reactive. But when I sit quietly, this little space in my mind, and just hold the thought, I am not all those worldly things. I am independent. They will come and go. But what is constant about me? I am a traveler through time, and as I travel, everything changes around me. What remains constant is me, the eternal nature of me. I, the soul, this living being, never destroyed. It's like I become an observer of these different parts I play as I travel through time. How much have I seen? How much have I experienced? And now time is calling me to come back to the self. Remember the self, the point of the self. Simply, I am a soul, a being of peace. That does belong to me, that feeling of peace. Nothing to do with the outer world. It's inside me. Om Shanti. Until next time, thank you for joining. And our next meditation experience is Saturday at 1 o'clock. Our next spiritual session, exploring a theme, is Saturday at 2 o'clock. Have a lovely evening.